Yo, what's good? It's me, a guy all the way from Bed-Stuy, Habo, and this is the Art Block, a show where we take a closer look at the art world through the lens of being a black artist. Today, I'm joined by none other than Reggie Perry Jr., also known as Nobody Famous across socials, and it was a phenomenal conversation about work-life balance between having a family and being an artist, and also a lot of his inspirations and being a multidisciplinary artist because he does so much. He's a renaissance man. So shout outs to him for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Without further ado, let's get into it. Yo, what's good? It's me, a guy all the way from Bed-Stuy, and we're back here with another fantastic episode of the Art Block. I'm joined by the one and only Reggie Perry Jr. What's going on, Reggie? How you feeling?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, considering what's going on out there. But I'm happy to finally have you on the pod. We've been following each other for a while now. I think maybe like a year or so.
Yep, for
Um,
sure.
Now I know that you do 3D modeling, but you also do music, and
Mhm.
you do photography, graphic design. So you're kind of like just like me, multidisciplinary artist. So
Yep,
where did
for
you get
sure.
your start, and how did you end up going into all these different areas?
Yeah, for sure. So I started with kind of video editing like back in like the late 90s, like 99, like 2000 when I was in high school. And we were looking, me and a couple of homies were looking for some software. We were in Best Buy and we saw this little like video editing software that also had music production in there. So we bought that, we split it $40, so 20 each. And got it home, put it on the computer. It was like, oh, you can make beats on this. So I started making beats, started writing songs. And it just kind of just like one thing led to another. So I was doing music for a minute. Was out in LA for a while doing it out there. I had stuff like on video games and TV shows, all that kind of stuff. Uh, Ended up getting like a hit overseas in like Germany and Austria, just saw some randomness. And then around 2010, 2011, I wanted to kind of start to focus more on the visual stuff. I took all the classes in high school, did all that. So I just started, learning Photoshop, Illustrator. That led to After Effects, and then 5 years ago, in January, 5 years ago, right before the pandemic, and my son was born, I got into 3D. So I've only been doing that for like 5 years at this point. But it just kind of just builds on each other. You know what I mean? As you get older and you have more experience, you kind of stack those skills up, and it just grows into what it grows into.
Yeah, it seems like a natural progression too. I like that everything kind of like you said bled into each other. And I think one of the most interesting things though, what I see when I see artists like yourself, because you have children. So how is the artist lifestyle for you also with raising kids?
Yeah, I mean, we try to make it like a part of our lives, right? So my wife's also a graphic designer. My daughter, she's 6, and she'll come in here and just be on like pull up Pinterest, pull up some Ninja Turtles or some Hello Kitty stuff, and just start drawing that. So we get her like a bunch of art tools and everything, and we just kind of try to implement it into our schedule. But now since they're both at school, I have more time. I do work from home, but it's like when I have downtime or early in the morning or later in the evenings, I'd sit down at the computer, open up Blender, and just do my thing.
Nice. Yeah, I've been wanting to get into Blender, man. Like I want to, like honestly, I want to dip my toes into anything that I can do, even if I suck at it. I just want to try it out. Because I know Blender is free, right? Ain't it free?
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out because a lot of your work is so dope. Yo, when I saw what was the one? I think the first one I saw was the Charlie Brown series you were doing.
Mhm.
That one was really cool. I love the Kendrick one you did recently. The MF Doom. I love that Malcolm X 3D model you did as well.
Appreciate that.
And there's another one. I think it was it Jay Dilla
Yeah, I
on
did
the
some Jay
piano?
Dilla one.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
dope. So why did you go to the Charlie Brown aesthetic versus like anything else? What was Charlie Brown standing out for you for?
um, It was more so of like the simplicity of the character, right? So I've
Mhm.
seen that. I used to have a Jay Dilla poster up here, and I actually printed out some of my own stuff and put it up. But I had like that little, you probably seen it before, like that 3D model of Jay Dilla holding an NPC and whatnot. So I had that poster up for a while, and I was like, I wanted to get some modeling practice in. It was just like modeling clothes, rigging those characters, and something that I could do like in 3 or 4 hours, and then just try to knock out as many as possible, just to practice a routine over and over again. So that's kind of why I started with the Charlie Brown. And once I had that, the first one I think I did was Jay Dilla. I did the MF Doom one. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I can just kind of keep bouncing around to different hip hop artists at different eras. And yeah, so that was kind of my thinking behind it and why I even landed on it. And I always loved Charlie Brown. Like I have the Charlie Brown records, the Christmas record, the
Yeah.
Halloween record, you know what I mean? Like the regular one I listen to a lot. So it was just always something I was into. So let me try it. And it just started building from there.
Yeah, nah, I feel that. And Charlie Brown is definitely one of those classic cartoons that I feel everybody probably had a chance to grow up with at some point because they make it over for every generation. They like to play all the old stuff. Well, not anymore because I think last year they
Had the
stopped airing it.
Franklin.
Well, they did. Yeah, they had a Franklin show, but then it's like they stopped airing it on regular TV. Like you have to have a Paramount Plus subscription to watch all the Charlie Brown stuff, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, you got to, and pretty much at this point, like with all the streaming services, it's like paying for cable. Because if you
Yeah.
got 2 or 3 shows on one you want to watch, 2 or 3 shows on another, $20 a pop, $15, pretty much you're up to $85 again.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time on the show because it's like we tried to cord cut and then they figured out what we was doing and now everybody's piecemealing. So you got all the networks. Not only do we have Netflix and HBO, but now even the individual networks are making their own apps and then taking stuff off like Netflix and HBO and Disney and putting on their thing. It's just like, all right, fam, like I don't know if I want to have all of these. We gotta have to figure something out because this is crazy. Because if you do have all of them, you're paying upwards to like maybe $100 something or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So I was trying to bundle them in with like with the internet. Sometimes with the internet package, they bundle in 1 or 2. With the phone, they might bundle in 1 or 2. But sometimes I cancel them and just bring it back when I want to watch something.
That's what I did recently. I'm into I don't know if you know the show Doctor Who.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
So they have that on Disney Plus now. So on Christmas, they usually every year they do like a Christmas special. So I was like, let me just do this little $10 thing and watch that. That was like the only thing I watched. I should have tried to look at something. Oh, you know what? I did watch what was it called? Inside Out 2. So I watched Inside Out 2 and Doctor Who, and then I just canceled it. I was like, I don't really watch Disney Plus.
Yeah. I have kids, so we watch it. But yeah, it's weird because when it first came about, I think that came about like in the November or so of that pandemic year. And it was like, oh, you get to watch all these old movies. And then once you have it, it's like, I'm not really watching these old movies that much.
Right. It's kind of like when you just have a big ass DVD collection or something. You just like this whole wall full of stuff. You barely watch. They got dust on it and shit. But the one app that I probably watch the most is, I would say, HBO Max or Max, whatever you want to call it now, because most of the stuff I like is on there. And then recently, I resubbed back to my my Apple TV Plus because they have a lot of good shows.
Apple TV is good.
I don't know what's going on, but they stole all the good writers. They stole all the budget. They took all that stuff and put it on Apple TV. Because I've been watching Severance. You seen that?
I haven't seen it, and I was talking to a friend about it the other week. Like we watched like one episode and didn't get back to it. I know it's like a slow burn, but I know it's also dope. But sometimes it's like that with shows. Like we watched an episode of The Bear and we didn't get back to it until like a year and a half later and end up just like binging 3 seasons. So.
Oh, that's that cooking show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I know it got like a bunch of awards or something like that. I haven't seen it yet though.
It's dope. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that's on that's FX?
That's Hulu. Yeah,
Hulu?
FX, which is basically Hulu.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with all the little sections and branches and shit. It's like, all right.
Yeah, and even with the shows, like you might watch a show, you be all into it, and it's like the next week something else grabs your attention. You forgot what you watched 2 weeks ago.
One question I do have for you, another question though, is your moniker, right? Your name across all your socials, Nobody Famous. What made you choose that? Because I feel like that's probably the most humble name you could ever choose for yourself. Where'd that come from?
Yep, that came from my music days, right? So coming up when I was producing and learning how to produce, obviously Kanye, the Neptunes, Just Blaze, Timbaland, all these people, you'd see like produced by the Neptunes, but oh, that's dope. Like I want to listen to it just because it's produced by them, whatever. So I always figured it'd be dope, like when everybody's kind of putting their names on the production, like produced by Nobody Famous, and everybody, yo, like who produced that? I don't know, Nobody Famous. So that was kind of part of it. Another part of it was we were just chilling out one day, me and some of the homies, and they were talking about like this independent movie. This is like 2004. We were like in college, and somebody was talking about this dope movie, and somebody asked who was in it, and they were like, Nobody Famous. And it kind of stuck out. It kind of stuck out to me, right? Because it's like, yeah, the work could be dope, and you might not know like who's in it. but the work could still be dope, and you become a fan of that person or that art or whatever the case may be. So it's kind of like a twofold kind of situation on how I came up with the name.
Yeah, no, I dig that for real, and it does stand out. Even though the irony in that is that your name is nobody famous, but it's the most recognizable name. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, do you have an affinity for a particular program?
I mean, I'm kind of into the Adobe Suite stuff just for the simple fact that I have to use it for work for my day job. So we have the whole suite. So a lot of it was that's where I learned. And
Yeah,
but I do love Blender. You know what I mean? For music, I use Ableton Live. So just a bunch of different things.
yeah, I have Ableton. I'm still trying to learn. I have this little so I basically had all these like COVID purchases.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was this thing called an Ovation Launch Key Mini. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yep.
So I bought that because I was like, oh, this is probably my chance to make some music and do some lo-fi, cool, surrealistic, David Lynch type shit. And I barely touched the thing. I used it maybe like once or twice. So I want to
Mm-hmm.
like this year, like learn Ableton, get all the stuff in there and start like playing and just like have some stuff for myself and maybe put some stuff out too. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, bare minimum, you could make your stuff and put it on behind your videos and stuff. That's what I really make most of my music for, right? So it's like
Exactly.
if I'm doing a time lapse of like some 3D or something, I'll make like a remix of, especially if like an artist, right? If I'm doing like a Kendrick piece or whatever, right? I'll just do the time lapse and I'll remix one of his songs and kind of combine that all together.
Exactly. That way you can avoid the copyright.
Exactly. Yep.
It's mad hard because like I'll try to find stuff for the stream itself because I stream usually for like maybe an hour or two. So it's hard to
Mhm.
find something that's that long that won't get my video demonetized or struck, whatever the word is.
Yeah, the
So usually,
copyright strike
yeah. So
joints. Yeah.
usually I just try to stick with like the same thing over and over again and try to switch between, because I found this guy, he does a lot of drum and bass and his stuff is really cool. It lasts like maybe 2-3 hours, so I just try to switch between his videos. But other than that, like I want to find stuff that's like more calm too, because I know people be like, "What is this stuff? It's mad loud. All it goes, it just goes."
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh man, I hope nobody hates that. But they seem to
Hey,
be all right.
yeah,
You
they'll be
need to
all
get into live streaming, bro. I would love to watch you work,
right.
modeling
I'm
or
Yeah, I've
making some
done it a
music.
little bit, but it's just kind of making the time, right? So like I said, during the day I have the job, so it's kind of hard unless I do like do it over lunch or something like that. And then on the weekends, if the kids are home, they'd be running in and out, which I don't mind, including them and whatnot. But I've done some, and I might get back into it here soon.
Yeah, YouTube is the wave now that everybody leaving TikTok. Because honestly, even though it's back, it's still getting shut down because it's not even back on the iOS store or the App Store.
Yeah, that's why I saw something about that, but I've never used TikTok, so
Oh,
I
dude,
wasn't really like.
you would go crazy on TikTok. Your views would be up, man, because a lot of your work would. I feel like on TikTok you can get away with a lot of things that you wouldn't on other platforms. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is the algorithm pushes everything. So if you have something very niche and cool, like your Charlie Brown 3D characters, the music and everything, people would latch onto that like honey on, I don't know what honey go on. Winnie the Pooh's paw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's really great because I've met a lot of great artists over there. And it's got its own ecosystem and it really does favor creativity. There's a lot of low effort stuff there too, but
Mhm.
if you really put a lot of effort in and you're consistent, you can really grow a really good tight audience for sure. It's unfortunate that was the only app that really did that for artists
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
I'm trying to get back into Instagram, but it's not the same.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty much it's pretty obvious now that Instagram's like pay to play. So if you
Yeah.
want to get your stuff seen, you got to run your ads or boost your posts or whatever the case may be.
Or know somebody
That's
on
why
Instagram.
that too. So I just kind of been I've been digging threads because it's been decent for me. Like I've obviously we connected on there and
Yeah.
I've met a bunch of people through threads, but again, it's still meta, so you never know. One day, probably one day sooner than later, it'll be unusable. But for now, it's working for me.
Oh, they're definitely putting ads on there. I saw an article the other day.
Yeah, I saw
So
that
it's
too.
definitely going to be shifting to different positions soon. And honestly, it sucks because there's really nowhere else for creative people to go. And just anyone in general, because I feel like social media itself has kind of turned into the antithesis of what its namesake is. It's not
Mhm.
social anymore. A lot of people are just posting ads or they're rage baiting. Yo, it's so much rage bait on threads now, bro. I'm just like, every time I see it, I try to be like, whoever's commenting on it, I'm like, hey, that's rage bait. Don't do it. Don't
Yeah.
engage with that, please. And then I block
They
that
do it
that
though.
that post. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I saw
But I
the
mean,
other day. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say, to be honest, I mean, I feel like that's a lot of the internet. You know what I mean? Like you could watch one video on YouTube about something like political, and then the whole your feed all of a sudden it's like all of these people talking about complaining about the same thing in the same way, and it's like it's clear that they're just doing it for views. Like they
Yeah.
might not even care about the issue. They just know people are gonna be mad about it and go click on it. But same with threads. You know what I mean? They're trying to get. I don't know if they're getting threads bonus or what, but they're trying it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's You just made it click for me because I was wondering why I was seeing such a big influx of people just making stupid ass posts about all kinds of stuff. They get
Hmm.
paid for it. That's
Hmm.
crazy. I miss like AIM and old IRC chat rooms, bro. Because it used to be
Chat
chill.
rooms, yep.
People used to chill. Now everybody's just like, look at me. I'm what's the thing? Those videos. Get ready with me as I go to the mall and buy Stanley Cup. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
What you got going on there? It looked like one of them vaporwave logos.
Yeah, I'm kind of messing with it, see what I can come up with.
Yeah, I like that. You ever listen to any vaporwave?
Sometimes, but most of the time it's like just on videos or something if I see it
Yeah,
like on YouTube or something. But
yeah.
they have it's definitely some cool stuff that people do with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I used to be big into it a couple of years ago when there was like a bunch of people just uploading to YouTube, like Saint McIntosh or whatever their names. They all had like Saint or Young in their name. And then all of them stopped making vaporwave and moved on to do like other projects, which is cool. Like I'm glad they were able to build up off of that and like forge a real career. But I'm like, come back to vaporwave just one quick time, man. Drop one more track.
But that's when you gotta make your own.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But I think that at some point, someone's going to have to make a real platform for creatives that is fun and active because everybody's like, oh, there's Red Note. I'm not going over there. I'm not trying to learn Mandarin. They're talking about Blue Sky. That's dry as hell over there. There's barely any black. I ain't barely seeing any black people over there. Um,
I
what's the other?
follow a couple of tags of black art and stuff, but it's not really yeah, it's not really too active over there. To be honest with you, like I'm sitting here, I have like let's see, black art and black artists. The last post was like a couple hours ago, but yeah, I mean, it's just everything's so fragmented, right? Like some people, oh, I love Blue Sky. Like, remember what was the one that was out like 6 months ago for artists that everybody was like, oh, we're getting off Instagram, we're going here, and now nobody talks about it. Like,
Man, I don't know. They just make something up every single day, and everybody's like, "Let's go over there," and then they forget about it in 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm just like, now I can't even do it no more. I'll just kind of just chill out and just. And plus, I saw you just launch your site. You know what I mean? I'm working. I just keep my website. Try to keep my website up to date. Um, and kind of focus on those things and try to build like an email list and just kind of direct relationships with folks versus depending on these platforms at this point.
Yeah, and that's the most important part. I mean, that's the hardest part. I would say is building up that catalog, right, of getting off that platform or somebody else's platform, building your own, because people are very fickle, and if they don't really mess with you like that, they're not jumping to your site. They're not getting on a newsletter. So it's like really trying hard to not even trying hard, but just making sure that you are appealing to, you know, your specific niche, your audience enough so that they can like jump off or whatever, join this, join that, subscribe to this, subscribe to that. And I think that's the best way to go, at least for people that are, content creators and artists. Because my site, I've revamped it so many times and I just never I just never utilized it as well as I should have or could have. So now I'm just in this, especially with everything that's going on with social media now. I'm in this mindset where I really want to hone in on making sure everybody goes back to that place in some way,
Mhm.
shape, or form. No matter where I'm at, it's like, oh, go here to look at this, go here to look at that. If this shuts down, go over here. Like I'm saying that all the time on my posts. I'm saying that on the live streams because I just want everybody to focus in on that one hub. Because if you go there, you can go everywhere else.
True. Yep.
And I like your site. Your site is pretty. The thing is, I feel like with artists, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I think with artists, they build up the site, they make the site, and then just leave it alone. They don't update it. Like I look at your blog. Your blog is recent. You know what I'm saying? Some people have blogs from like 2022. It's like, yo, how you expect people to come and look at your site and you don't even touch it up or change anything? You got stuff from like 2019 sitting there. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I posted something today and I'm trying to like cause see, like you said with YouTube. So I've been working with YouTube. Like I've had a YouTube since like 2006, but I ain't really messed with it.
Yeah,
And I
you
was like,
need
let me
to.
get focused on it. Yeah, I was like, let me get focused on it this past year. So I started really like posting. I posted probably like 120 videos last year of
Mhm.
like time lapses and like tutorials and remixes and whatever the case may be. And it's like I just started pumping into that, and I started to realize like sometimes these videos will get picked up actually like in a Google search if you have the title right or somebody's looking for something. So I was like, let me also include that on my website. So if someone's searching for 3D product animation in Blender and my website comes up, boom, you have it there. So I'm just trying to keep that up to date. Every video I make, I'll write like a little short blog or just even a short description with the video and post it up there just to have more links on the internet and more ways that people can kind of get in touch.
Yeah. I think YouTube honestly is the wave right now. It always has been. I think a lot of people underestimate it because it fell short in comparison to a lot of its contemporaries like Twitch, TikTok, and whatnot. But if you look at the platform as a whole and what's on there, there are a lot of people who are creating and building communities and making a good amount of money to make a living
Hmm.
as well. In all categories, whether it's gaming, video essays, art, animation, all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I love YouTube. I pay for the ad free joint
Premium,
because
me
I hate
too.
that.
Premium
Yeah, I have
club,
to.
yeah.
Kind of got to, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
otherwise, I saw something the other day. So people were mad because there was like an hour long ad that people couldn't skip.
I heard about that. So what happened?
I didn't read it. I didn't actually like dig into it and see what it was, but I did see it pop up on my news feed. And it's like that sounds about right. Though somebody probably wanted to run the ad. Uh, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to skip it though,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy. It might have been a glitch.
yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them, but it might have been a glitch. I would have just refreshed. I
exactly.
would have kept refreshing until it went away. It usually
Because
works sometimes.
once they got rid of the joint where you can't use the ad blocker on there, I was like, I had to get the premium. I can't
Yeah.
sit there and watch ads. Like when I watch something on Paramount Plus or something and the ads pop up, it's like I don't even want to watch this no more.
Yeah, I would say with regular TV, I'm fine with it because that's just kind of like how we were programmed. It's like you expect commercials even now. I don't like it, especially when it gets on certain apps. Like I know Netflix said they were going to do it soon. But when it
Mhm.
comes to like the YouTube stuff, no, I to keep the ads off, especially during the live stream. It just interrupts the whole, vibe
Yeah,
and the conversation. Like you're in the middle of talking, and then like an ad pops up, and you miss what that person said. You can't go back because you're in the middle of the live stream.
yeah, can't do it. Or yeah, you listen to interviews or you doing? I'll pull up workout videos, do workout videos off YouTube in the morning. It's like I can't. I'm not gonna sit there with no ad popping up in the middle of a of an interval. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just pay for that. It's worth it.
Let me ask you, because I saw this the other day on Threads, and I love that Threads. It's so my algorithm has put me in this space with a lot of black artists and black people in New York and all that stuff. I saw somebody say the other day with everything that was going on, with like DI program shutting down and whatnot, and then like TikTok shutting down, and then you had Isaac Hayes the third trying to get people to go over the fan base, which it's been 6 years, my nigga. Like it's not happening. Um, somebody said being black is not enough, right? And it made me think because I always want to support everybody black, But then at the same time, I can't use that as an excuse just to give, my time, attention, and money to whatever, especially if it's low quality. But then you have people
Mhm.
arguing like you got to give it a chance. So I don't know, like it's a weird place to sit at. How do you feel about it?
I mean, that's a good question. Um, I feel like this conversation has been going on like my entire life. Uh, to be honest with you, like hearing like, okay, like you know, support black business, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, yeah, and there are a lot of businesses out there where people run them. They're professional. They're growing. Like we got I'm in Georgia, so Slutty Vegan started out down here. I got one like down the street,
Oh,
right? So it's like you see what running a business successfully being black owned looks like. You see Uncle Nearest and what that looks like to be $1 billion brand because they're running it professionally and like a business. And I think that across like not even just black culture, but just in general, people think just because you make something and you're you that people should buy it and support it when it at the end of the day it is like business, and if you don't have a good experience with that business you may not go back. So yeah, I do always try to support black businesses and buy black art and all that and all those kind of things, but also too I want the experience to be good, and I want you to like handle your business and be professional. Like I have a business degree, so that's just kind of how my mind thinks. So it's like when somebody emails me, I'm responding back. If I'm we're gonna get stuff on paper if we're going in business and doing a contract. Like I'm gonna be there 10 minutes ahead of time, or otherwise I consider it being late. Those kind of things, right? So I'd expect that from everybody, to be honest with you. But I mean, with the internet, man, like I saw this thing not too long ago, people talking about like 90% of the stuff on the internet, like the loudest people come from like 10 or 20% of the people, right? So 90% of what you see are coming from a small amount of people. So sometimes you have to take that into consideration when you hear the people who are like the loudest and you see the most on your timeline. That yeah, they may have a point or whatever the case may be, but does everybody think like this, or does everybody approach these situations like this? And do I approach these situations like this? If that kind of makes sense. I don't know if that really answers your question, but I just feel like twice as good for half as much type of thing, right? So like you have to like, it's just the society we live in. Like, it's not gonna change, you know what I mean? We could talk about it all day, but unless you're, like, literally twice as good, 3 times, 4 times as good, sometimes just the blackness is not enough because it's the country that we live in, it's the system that we live in, it's these things that are in play, and it's like we want them to change, and we're obviously people are trying to make them change and making it known that they should be changed, but then we get here in 2025 and stuff is getting pulled, DEI is getting pulled, and they're taking programs away and things like that. So I don't know. It's a complicated situation to me, and it's like I don't really know if I have the answers to that. You know what I mean? But for me personally, I'm going to support black folks as much as I can, where I can, when I can.
yeah, I feel that, and I don't, I don't know if there is a perfect answer for that. Because
Yeah.
there's so many. It's not just black and white. No pun intended. But I feel that there's so many different things that incorporate into what our culture is here in America, Black American culture, and all the things that come with that, and why we do want to have this sense of like solidarity with each other. At the same time, when we do see things that we want to support that are lacking, it's hard because especially particularly things like with food. If I go to your restaurant and your food nasty, bro, like I don't know what to do. Like I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I'm not going to come back there unless you improve. Like if I open up my sandwich and there's like hair in there or something, and that's with anybody. But it's like
Mhm.
if the service is lacking or whatever, like there has to be something that has to improve, and maybe you have to be that person has to be receptive to the feedback. And I feel like a lot of times we're not, because we got this mindset. And I'm not trying to sound like no, high Diddy, Uncle Tom or whatever, but like I feel like we have this mindset where it's just like, all right, we both black, you have to do it anyway. So what if I have a hair in there? So what if I don't draw the characters the way it's supposed to look or whatever the case may be? It's like, nah, we have to, if we're gonna really uplift each other, the whole rising tide raises all ship thing, then we have to really like be open and receptive to feedback and criticism too. And on
Hmm.
on the flip side, that I do see sometimes people go a little bit too hard and they kind of rag on people. Like that whole situation with Keith Lee and that restaurant in Atlanta. I forgot the
Hmm.
name of it, but that whole situation could have gone a completely different way if everybody just chilled and calmed down a little bit. If they said, "Hey, all right, maybe our food ain't that good," and if people also didn't attack them, it could have been a whole different situation where it's just like, "All right, here's what we can do together as a community and lift each other up. Let's like, get some training inside. Let's volunteer. Let's do this." Because I don't know, man. Like,
And
I don't.
let me
Yeah.
ask you something on the kind of on the same vein of that, right? Because I saw the video yesterday. Like, what do you think about Tabitha Brown's response? Did you see that video?
I saw a little bit of it. I know that she used to have some products in Target. Like, was
Mhm.
it food or something like that? What does she have in there?
She had like she had a lot of like home decor type stuff in Target. I know she has stuff like in Walmart. I think like spices and stuff. She said, but I mean, they used to have like end caps and things right in the middle of the aisle of her stuff, like as recently as 3 4 months ago.
Okay, and so they just took all of that out. So what's happening exactly? I really keep up with the news.
Well, they're not taking it out, right? She basically, they announced DEI announced or Target announced their end of their DEI stuff last week, and then obviously, everybody's jumping online like, let's boycott. We're gonna boycott. And then she kind of released a response saying like, which is kind of what I was thinking about, like deeper from a business level of if y'all like when you boycott and you don't go to Target and you don't go buy Tabitha Brown stuff, they're gonna say the numbers are gonna go down. Then they're gonna look at that and be like, look, the black stuff's not selling, so we're taking it off completely. And that was her like point of view with that. And then other people are like, um, how's somebody gonna tell us like who to boycott? Or like, I saw some literally probably 30 minutes ago, somebody was like, um, how's a millionaire gonna tell us not to boycott so they can stay a millionaire type thing. So yeah, I was curious on like your thoughts of that, right?
So wait, you get mad at the person that we were supporting because they told you not? That's I don't know, man. It's like I said, it's complicated.
Yeah.
There's so many things that come into that because on one hand, yeah, boycotting Target would be a good idea, but we also have to think about the other people that are there that are still selling their products. So it's like if we are boycotting that, right? What are the alternatives? Are we going to allow this person to sell their stuff through their own network, or are we going to go somewhere else to follow them? Because boycotting is only going to do but so much. It's going to end up hurting us more than it hurts, Target.
And I think that's what she was saying. And that was kind of my thoughts before I saw any of this, right? It's like, okay, if they cut back these DI programs and everybody's like, we're not going to go shop there anymore and buy this black stuff, the things from the black collections and whatnot, then that's going to hurt not only those people, those artists who are in there right now, but future chances for future artists going to be like, well, look, black folks don't come and buy this black stuff, so we
And
don't
that's
need
what
to
they
put it on
want.
the shelves. That's exactly
That's
what
what
they
they
want,
want.
right? So it's like there's other layers beyond what's going on right now, you know?
And I think what also comes with that, though, we also have to break out of the familiarity of things, right? People go to Target because it's Target. If Tabitha
Mhm.
Brown had her own store, I don't think people would go to it. And I think it's also us learning to step outside because I'm willing to do that. Like I'm the type of person where like if you are on your own platform, I will support you on your own platform, whether it's a brick and mortar store, whether it's your own website, whether it's your own service or whatever. If it's good quality, I will support it. Like I would
Mhm.
love to, buy a bunch of ghetto gastro at my local store, but if I got to go straight to the website to buy it instead, I will do that, you know?
Mhm.
And
I
I
think they had some in Target too.
yeah,
I
they
think I
did.
saw some in
They
Target.
sold out.
Mhm.
Look, listen. I went to like 5 different Targets. I walked to 5 different Targets. Them joints was sold out everywhere. I'm like, dang. Because I could have
Yep.
got it from TikTok Shop, but I didn't want to buy the 4 pack in case I didn't like it. So I just wanted to
Mhm.
buy one box. I'm like, dang, it's sold out everywhere. Y'all niggas stop eating this stuff. Let me have one. Let me have one. So it's hard. I think the solution or one possible thing we can do is to, and I know this is a common phrase, is build up our own thing. And what I mean by that is, if Tabitha Brown says, I'm going to sell through my own website, I'm going to start my own, shipping and all that distribution and all whatnot, then we need to follow through with that and buy from her instead of just sitting and
Yep.
waiting for Target to do something, or if she goes to Walmart, or if she goes to any other thing. Because if we keep relying, it's the same thing with social media. If we keep relying on these big companies that don't really care about us, then we're not going to get anywhere.
Mm-mm.
That's the thing.
Yep. So, I mean, I think it's a nuance. Like all these situations are nuanced, and there's so many moving parts. And to oversimplify it is, it's not the best move in my opinion, because there's a lot of like to even get into a store. There's like so many moving parts to even get to that point. So it's not like all of a sudden her stuff's gone and she has all of that inventory back and she's shipping it out from her garage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thank God she's not. Is she really a millionaire though? She made it that? I don't know anything about her.
See, I don't know, and that's an assumption that somebody just on the internet made, right? But if you just go by what people were saying on the internet,
You
because
can't
she
be.
was driving Ubers 5 months or 5 years ago,
Right.
yeah.
That's the thing about
So
the internet. Everybody is, what's that word?
an expert.
Yeah, an expert, but they also make everything like hyperbolic. Like everything is just like intense, like
Yeah,
tenfold on the internet for no reason. It's like, all right, fam, you got on here with some emotions that you probably need to let out with your therapist because there's too much going on. And it's just
yeah,
it's ramping up more than ever before. Like, granted, some things are justified, but I'm just like, I get on, I just start blocking people. As soon as you get on the internet and all you doing is yelling and screaming, or you doing all this heavy emotional stuff, and I'm just like, all right, I'm good. Like, let's
yeah,
have a chill conversation without you trying to trigger nobody, because it's easy to detect that if somebody's making a video or a post that is clearly trying to set somebody off. Like,
mhm,
it's so evident now.
yeah. And that's kind of what I was going back earlier with like the algorithm, because obviously Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all these places want people to stay on their platforms as much as possible. And once people figure out, well, if I make these videos that are going to get people upset and arguing in the comments with each other, I'm going to have more engagement. I'm going to get more dollars. And I just think that that's part of the downgrade of like the internet in general. Like, because everybody's just trying to get reactions so they can try to get likes and views and potentially dollars.
I'm gonna ask you that one generic question that goes around every once in a while. If you didn't get any likes, if nobody saw anything you put up, would you still create?
Yeah. And I mean, I've had all over the years. I feel that for me, especially like with the 3D stuff, the 3D was something that I always wanted to do since I was like 11, 12 years old, like since I saw Toy Story. So now, like, if you see my bio, it says like parenting my inner child through 3D. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going back to when I felt like there was hope in the world, like there was so much to do, there was so much you can accomplish, and I'm touching on those feelings. So that's why like I'm digging into Charlie Brown, or that's why I'm making like a Penny Hardaway, little Penny 3D model, or whatever the case may be, or touching on some of these old cartoons like Doug, because whatever I felt in that time, wherever that got cut off in my adolescence, I'm trying to access that again and like build through my art with that. So it's not really about the likes and stuff. It's all a bonus. People like it. If a post takes off and people start digging it or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, like that is the core of what I'm creating and why.
Yeah, you know what? You just reminded me. That was the first thing I saw. I think it was your Judy Funny.
Hmm.
That was the first thing I saw, and that's when I started following you on Threads. Man, yeah, wow, that was like what? How long ago was that? A year,
That
two
might have been
years,
about 8 months
8 months,
ago. About
eight.
10 months ago.
It
Yeah.
feels like sometimes the internet be going by so fast. I feel like it's 10, 15 years. But
Hmm.
no, I definitely would agree with that. Like, I mean, that's how we all start.
Yeah.
Nobody there, you know. And I think what happens is we get caught up in the algorithm and the social media aspect, that it's like, oh, if this doesn't get any views, then it sucks. I'm terrible. I'm not a good artist. And it's like, that's not the case. Just because you're not being seen, just because people aren't commenting, doesn't mean it's bad. It's just sometimes the algorithm is just not picking it up. And that's fine. It happens to everybody. I've seen people that are way better than me that barely get any interaction or engagement, you know? So I definitely think the most important thing for any artist is to focus on your craft first. You know what I'm saying? Don't
Yep.
try to make something for the algorithm. Just make something for yourself. And if people latch onto it, then you can be like, all right, let me tap into this more.
Yep.
That's how I see it.
Because that's what I've been making. I mean, a lot of my stuff is stuff that just I want to see, right? And if people rock with it, they rock with it. If they don't, they don't. And I follow artists who are like creative directing photo shoots for dope albums and album rollouts and stuff and got 500 followers. Like the followers don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? It's
It
really,
really don't. It
especially
really
if you're trying to
don't.
make if you're trying to make a career out of this, you're better off like building relationships with people that can help you, and build with you versus trying to just impress random people on the internet, because people on the internet don't care. Next thing that comes along next week, they're not even talking about you no more. So
Right. Yesterday's
that's just
news,
how it
last
is.
week news. I'm
Yes,
just trying to
things move
impress
so fast these
myself.
days.
I don't
Yeah,
want I
with
want
my
to make
with my growth and
right.
mastery.
Exactly. Like I want to make stuff where if I was able to meet my 13-year-old self, he would go, "Damn, that shit
Yep.
hard, bro." You know what I'm saying? like I want little me to be like, "Oh, that's so awesome," you know?
Yeah.
And granted, like for me personally, I feel at my best when I can engage with people, but it doesn't have to be social media. Like I want to
Mhm.
have conversations around the art. I want to have conversations about art in general. That's why I have the art block where we're talking about stuff here, you know? Because I think I feel that's how we grow. I feel like that's how we learn new things about ourselves, learn new things about our interests, and we can adapt in our style and our aesthetic through that too. I mean, if we all just stayed in that same bubble, then we probably wouldn't be as advanced as we are now. Like I'm pretty sure the stuff that you're making now, I can say this for anybody. The stuff that we're making now is not the same stuff we were making, 10, 15 years ago when we were younger or when we were little kids, you know.
Or even 10, 15 months ago.
Exactly. Also, I'm loving this city land this skybox you got going on here.
Yeah, just using the basic shape, see what I can come up with.
Yeah, it reminds me of I can't put my finger on it, but it reminds me of something. Like one of them old side scrolling video games. You remember like the 8-bit?
Oh yeah, like what's the joint called? They used to have a racing one on Nintendo. I used to play all the time.
Outrun with the red car?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yep.
love that. Speaking of video games, do you play?
I play some, but not like I'm not super into it. So my son is into the Switch.
Mhm.
So he plays like Luigi Mansions and stuff like that. My wife actually plays with him, so they've beaten like both like 2 and 3. I think 2 just came out on the Switch. For me, I'm more of like something quick, so I'll play like FIFA, or I'll play like a round of Fortnite or something like that, and then Age of Empires 4 on a computer, so like that real time strategy
Yo, you
game.
just wait, the way you just went from FIFA and Fortnite to Age of Empire, like that's a big difference between two very different genres.
I used to play Age of Empires like back in the day when they used to sell the computers, like the Dells or the Gateway. I think we had got a Gateway, and I had the first Age of Empires, and the disc came with like it came with like 5 or 6 different games, and I never played it for maybe like a year.
Yeah.
I got on it. I was like 14, 15. I was like, oh, this is kind of dope. Like I gotta like build up my civilization and go to war with people and like out strategize them and stuff. So I've been playing Age of Empires for like 25 years.
Nice. I tried to get into one of those. I think it was Civilization, which I
Mhm.
think is kind of similar to Age of Empires because you
They're,
got to
they're kind of
strategize.
similar.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
I like Civilization. The first one I played was on the Xbox 360, and then I think I technically own 5 on Steam, but
Mhm.
those types of games require you to really pay attention. Like
Yeah,
you gotta
you gotta
really
have
know
like
what's
an
going on.
hour or two. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you gotta. But yeah, they came out with 4 maybe 3 years ago. So I'll play it. I might play like a round a week or something like that, because this is a commitment. Like it's at least an hour,
Yeah.
depending on how good everybody is and stuff. So, but those are kind of like my main ones, and then I'll play random stuff like on like we'll play Fall Guys with the kids, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big on.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I was about to say I'm big on it. Anybody watching right now, they know I'm big on the games. Like that's like one of my biggest hobbies when I'm inside. So I play a lot of Diablo. I don't know if you heard of Diablo.
Mhm.
I do play Fortnite every now and again. I have a love-hate relationship with Fortnite. It's like somebody said on Reddit, they were like, you don't ever really quit Fortnite. You just, take a break from it for a while. You come
Yeah.
back. Because there'll be moments where I'm just like diving into it mad crazy and just playing every day. And then I'll stop playing for like maybe 8 months and be like, oh, I'm
Yep.
not coming back to Fortnite. I don't like that game. Stupid. And then here
Yeah.
I am again playing. I'm doing I've been doing more of the Fortnite festival mode instead of battle
Mhm.
royale. So the rock band mode.
Mhm.
And then what's the other thing they had? I tried Rocket Racing, but I think the music mode is my favorite one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, I
those
haven't even messed with the music mode.
Yo, it's mad fun. Like
Yeah.
it feels kind of weird because I'm used to doing like the instruments, like the plastic
Mhm.
instruments. But once you get used to the controller buttons, it's pretty good.
Oh, so you actually like play? It's almost like a Guitar Hero type situation.
Yeah, yeah, and you're playing with 3 other people.
Oh,
And
nice.
then they
Yeah, I'll
have
check that out
one,
then.
yeah, and then they have the other cool thing they have is it's called Jam Stage. So basically
Mhm.
you're on this map and random people are just playing music. And it's like all licensed stuff. So it's like Kendrick, Madonna, Snoop. They just had they put out, her name is Miku. She's like a Japanese cartoon musician, like Gorillas, kind
Mhm.
of like Gorillas.
Gotcha.
So you can get on there. So let's say we're in the world right now. I would have like the unfortunate thing, you got to buy all the songs. You don't unlock them. So if I have like one song, you have another song, we can like combine those together and like just play like a little loop, and other people can
Mhm.
come in and they can play from different songs or different instrument types because they what's it called, stems. They break all the stems
Yep.
up.
Mhm.
Um, and it's dope if you're around like people that know what they're doing and they have a good ear for music. You can sit in there for like maybe a couple of hours and just have a good time. But most of the
Dope.
time, it's just people speeding up songs. Like, all right, all right. I don't think you need to be here.
Yeah.
We about to
I'll
revoke
check
your
that out though.
license. Yeah, definitely check it out. And they have some free songs sometimes too. They do like the battle pass. They'll have some free songs on the battle pass. I think the
Mhm.
most recent one they had like a J Lo song, which was random. Like I didn't know people wanted to even listen to J Lo, but okay.
Yeah, I saw something that's somebody wrote an article. It might have been like a year ago when kind of the all the metaverse hype was dying down. They were basically saying, like Fortnite is like the only kind of like tried and true proven metaverse situation. And I agree with that. I could see that. There's so many things you could do. You got the creator mode, people making their own games, kind of like a Roblox situation. You can play different modes. You got the music mode, you got the battle royale, you got the no build now, you got the reload, the OG version. So there's a lot of different things going on. And now they're selling the sneakers, so you can
Yeah,
buy
that
like the
that threw me off, bro. I went on. I was like, why they got Jordans up here? Who's buying individual Jordans and putting them on their characters? I want to see that.
pe- people are. I've seen them in the lobby before a
I need to
match.
bring them
So
on. I need to have a conversation with them. Like, what is going on? Why are you buying digital sneakers, bro?
for like $15 for those.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's 15. That's crazy.
I don't know if they're 15, but probably. I mean, you got to buy. You got to spend at least probably $10 to get some V-Bucks or whatever. So
Yeah, I wish they would just let you
yeah.
use like regular currency instead of having like the digital currency because then it converts. Because when you
Mhm.
buy like, let's say something costs 1,500, then you got to buy the 2,000, then you got the leftovers, and you can't buy nothing with it because you got less than everything. Everything else is like 500, and it's like, all right, what am I gonna do with that? I gotta
Yep.
buy more V-Bucks. Like, I see what
Exactly.
you're doing. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
I don't ever
Fortnite,
buy 'em, but
oh, go ahead.
they have it. Yeah. So it's like when you play, you'll get some throughout the season, but they only give you about 200. So you got to play about 4 seasons to get enough to buy anything.
Yeah, it used to be you can get like 1,000 on the battle pass back in the day.
Yeah.
But now they're just like, nah, we want you to spend that moolah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to
Open up
spend
your
it.
mom's credit card, spend all the money. I remember one kid, they had on the news, one kid spent like $5,000 or something on V-Bucks. This was like
I
maybe
believe it.
3, 4 years ago. I was like, damn, I know he is not coming back outside. He's missing an
Nope.
arm. He is not coming back outside. But Fortnite definitely is one of the biggest platforms. It's not even a game anymore. It's a platform because you can do so many things
Mhm.
on it now. And it's
Yeah. Exactly.
ironic how it started. It was a regular video game about like tower defense. And then
Mhm.
they saw what PUBG was doing. It was like, oh, let's do Battle Royale. And now it's like this massive thing where you can do your own games. Like you said, like the games I've seen on there are like really what like the really, really like top popular ones are extremely well done. It don't even feel like you're in Fortnite. Like I've played a
Mhm.
lot of horror games. I've played some like RPG stuff, top down. And I think they said that they're implementing more Disney stuff at some point to where you can go to Disney worlds themselves. So I don't know when they're going to do that, but like seeing what they've done with Lego, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out like perfectly. Like it's
Yeah.
just unstoppable. Fortnite's big. People thought it was going to die down, but I don't think it's dying down anytime soon. It's going to keep
Yeah,
growing.
I thought that the Lego thing was like a short term thing, but every time I get on there, because my kids played a lot and we play it together, we have our world we were building in. It's like they add more and more and more every single time. More weapons, more enemies, like more biomes, all that different stuff.
Yeah, one thing I want to do though, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if this makes me a sellout or lame or whatever, but I would love to have my art as a loading screen in the game. Like I
Yeah,
need to find out
I
what
look
other
at the screens all the time.
program. Say what?
I said I always look at the loading screens when they come up every time.
Yeah, man, because they getting like some really cool artists in there now. So I don't know what kind
Mhm.
of program they got, who I need to talk to, who we need to talk. I want you in there too. I want everybody in there because we need to have some niggas in Fortnite. But nah, I would love to have a loading screen in Fortnite. Like honestly, that would be like either that or maybe like if I get real popular, have like a back bling of my character.
That'll be dope.
Yeah. Are there any companies you ever wanted to work with? Like any
Um,
dream collabs?
to be honest, I mean, not really. I just over last week I just made like a mock like Nike commercial
I
and the
peeped.
kind of what that would look like. But like I'm into the place now. I'm like, let me make the kind of stuff I want to see in the world, and then when it's time, the opportunities will come. Like I got some stuff coming out a couple weeks. Like I did I linked up with Most Incredible Studios. They do like Lego, like bespoke Lego collections based off of like Black culture and stuff. So I did the 3D animation for their Paper Planes collaboration, and then they have a bunch of stuff coming up over the course of the year. So we got one video that's going to be dropping like in about 3 weeks for Black History Month and stuff throughout the year. So a lot of stuff I try to do, I'm trying to center around like Black culture and just blackness and just dope shit in general, um, and just leave it open, see what happens. You know what I mean?
You know, no, I feel that. How important is blackness to you when it comes to creating your art? Do you see yourself honing in on that even more now that we have the present current presidency going on, or do you think that like we should try to like maybe add in some other people? Because I know a lot of black artists, they try to like be like, oh, let's include everybody. I'm like, nah, for me, nah, I'm good.
No, it's important, and it's been something that I've been focusing on really since I started 3D. Right, so if I was to like go back and post old stuff, you're gonna see Malcolm X pieces that I made like in 2001. You're gonna see uh all different kinds of artists, Biggie, Jay Z, all these different like figures that I was kind of touching on when I was like learning the craft, and then as I was digging into the craft and just really like peeping like who's who in the industry, who's doing what, scrolling Behance, scrolling Instagram stuff. It's like there's not a lot of blackness in the 3D space at all. So I was like, let me just focus down on this. And it's like I'm starting to see now people like, oh, like there needs to be more blackness in the 3D space. This looks dope. I didn't even know you could do this, or whatever the case may be. So um I've always been on that since like day one, with the stuff I was creating for in the 3D space for sure. Then adding in like my experience with music and hip hop and everything, I just think it all just kind of goes together, and it's very intentional. And I think that folks need to see that. And I used to have been over like a decade and a half now, but I used to have a program teaching kids like music production and songwriting and stuff. And my intention at the time was always to add in video production and graphic design and illustration and just all of like the digital arts and whatnot, and then eventually even 3D. So I think it's important for like kids to see, and young black kids to see like, yeah, like I can do this and I can do it in a way that's like represents me and my people. So that's been my approach from day one with it.
I love that because like you said, like in the 3D space, especially, I until you, I've probably met only like maybe two or three other people. You know what I'm saying? And we've been online for how long? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it was when I saw your Judy, your Patty Mayonnaise, and all the other characters like 8 months ago. I was like, whoa, breath of fresh air. Let's go. I'm following you. I don't care what else is going on. I'm making sure I'm keeping up with this guy. And I feel like you said, kids need to see us in these different roles.
Mhm.
As a teaching artist myself, I do pride myself on making sure that our young black boys and girls and non-binaries do see characters that look like them, whether it's stuff that they create on their own or other people out there, because there is stuff out there in specific areas, but it's just hard to find um when you're looking for something specific, you
Yep.
know. um so I definitely try to promote that as well, is being proud of your blackness, whether you're black American, whether you are African, whether you are West Indian, whether you are from all the way across the world. Like, we have to make sure that our joy is in abundance,
Yep.
because a lot
And
of the
I
go ahead.
think that's why, well, I've liked Thread so much over the last year and a half because I've been able to, like, connect and meet, like, a bunch of different people who were operating, like, in the art space with Blackness and, publishing books, and it's like, "Oh, I can go buy your book," and it's like, "You illustrated this book, I can go buy that book that you illustrated, I saw you with the process of it," or whatever the case may be. Um, and I think that's important, and even for me in my creative journey, it was important because, like, I was never really big on Twitter. It's just like the timing of it and what was going on in my life. I just never really got into it, right? So it's like I was on Instagram, and you can kind of find artists on Instagram, but you got to put in some effort. And it's like with Threads, it's like if I meet you and you comment on somebody's stuff, it's like, well, I know I like your taste and what you do, and if you're commenting on them saying that's dope, now I can go to their stuff, see their stuff. I can see they're connected with this person, and it just kind of starts to build like this community. It just felt more like community than Instagram has ever really felt. And then also to be able to meet like-minded, creators and people who are creating black art and stuff. I think it's just like dope to it's a dope situation right now. And like I said, in this moment, we don't know how long it will last, but for right now, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's definitely helped me out a lot to be like, okay, I don't feel so alone because I'm seeing all these other people who are also creating the same kind of art.
Exactly, because I feel like, you know how Captain Planet is powered by the sun. The closer you get to
Mhm.
the sun, you're more powerful. Superman, all them other characters like that. That's how I feel when I meet other people, other black artists online. You know, especially if we align in the same ideologies and philosophy and all that stuff, and we can just vibe. I love that,
Mhm.
because the internet is just, I don't want to say it's so scary, but there's a lot of, there's been an influx of trolling for a lot of black people specifically in the last like couple of years.
Mhm.
And it sucks when you are on a platform and you're looking for people and all you're encountering is just like racism and all the phobias and all the other isms out there. So it's nice that, like you said, Threads has really connected me. TikTok has really connected me with a lot of people too. And
Mhm.
recently on my streams, what I've really enjoyed, a lot more black people have been finding me. I don't know what's been going on in the algorithm. I don't know what got into the system, but hey, more melanin for the win. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Definitely.
enjoy that for sure. I had another question for you. I just lost my train of thought. How do you balance the workload of trying to promote yourself as an artist and actually creating?
So this is something that I've struggled with for like I want to say almost the last 10 years up until a year ago. Cause like in my music days, like it was hustles, the blog era. So it's like, yeah, I had my email list on my blogs and building relationships with those people, doing shows, all that kind of stuff. So it just felt natural. And I think that when I switched to the visual arts and I was like a novice again and a beginner, that I lost a lot of my confidence in that kind of like self promotion area. And it's just something that I had to like build up. And I so now it's just I post, I don't overthink it. Like, I'm making what I make, and I just keep it moving, right? So it's like I posted some animations yesterday, some of the Peanuts ones, and that one took off on Threads, and then I'll post something else, and it will get 2 likes. It's like whatever, like I don't care, like it's out there, and I think that's you see a lot of people talk about like the artist's job is just to put it out there, and what the world does with it is what they do with it. So I try not to think about it too much and just be consistent. Post to the places that I post. So I do my website, obviously. I'll do Threads. I'll do Instagram. I'll do what else? YouTube, and just be consistent on those platforms. Like we talked about, like Blue Sky and all this stuff. Like if you get, it could get overwhelming to where that's the job instead of the art. You know what I mean? The art's to me, the art is the job. So I'm putting it out there through these platforms and channels, but I'm not like I don't have a calendar of like I'm posting this on this day or anything like that. Um, it's just here it is, and I go to the next thing. To be honest with you, like I said, I did that little commercial the other day. I posted that on Friday. I did the walkthrough video, uploaded that this morning, and then now I'm working on the next thing. And what happens with it happens, you know.
And that's exactly what you said, exactly what I was thinking about, because there are moments where it can be extremely overwhelming. And everybody's like, oh, we got to go to this platform, we got to go to that platform. It's like, oh, do you not realize how hard it is to be on one platform, if anyone at all? On top
Yep.
of the fact that you have to do everything on your own. I feel like I would wager 90% of people, 98% of people that are posting right now do not have anybody behind them helping them out with editing and posting and all these other things. So it's
Hmm.
like when you are on one platform, you got to make sure, you're in a good ecosystem, right? You want to be around those people, you want to be around other fellow artists that can talk with you, or whatever audience you have, because it's like it can be a burnout. That's why I
Hmm.
only stick to well, I was mostly doing TikTok for like the last few years.
Hmm.
And then I started doing, what was the other one? Threads, when that came out. So I'm on that. I'm on Instagram now. With TikTok going away, I'm trying to focus more on Instagram. And the most important thing, as you were saying, the website. So I just redid mine. I got everything there. Like it's really like it took me 4 days, Reggie. I was up here like this. Ugh, like, if I had the money to pay somebody, I would obviously let somebody else do it. But I do like the fact that I can learn how to do some of these things. But I don't want to. I want to be able to like create. So I'm trying to find that balance, right? Where I take a break from the posting, then I create some stuff, build up a little backlog, and I can start posting again. Because having that, day by day thing, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. That's me. Drive myself
Yep.
crazy doing that. So I've been learning to like kind of back off, and because honestly, you don't even need to post every day. It's not
Yep.
like how it used to be where you had to do that to keep up with everybody. If you just do something really cool or whatever and people see it, cool. It's fine.
Yep. And what I do is I'm real big like on just putting systems in place, right? Even just like the organization of my work on the computers and the hard drive and stuff. So I have my folder for finished projects, and in that I'll have it named out. So like with all the Peanuts characters, I have a folder under my finished project that says Peanuts, and it has all of the ones. So say like Kendrick, uh Jay Dilla, like MF Doom, all these, and within those folders it will have like if I did a processing video for it, it will have that. If I did, and I'll have like 3 or 4 different images, final renders for that, and I just have it all laid out. So over the last year and a half, that just stacks up, and then I also send it all to my phone and have it organized in my phone on the album. So if I'm scrolling something, I haven't seen something in a while that I may say, oh, this is dope, then I'll just post it and kind of do it like that. So it's not thought of like I need to post this on this day, this on this day. It's like I have it all laid out, everything I've done over the last 18 months organized, and I can just scroll through and be like, oh, people haven't seen this in a while, or they may not have seen it because you're gaining followers, you're losing followers, whatever the case may be. Repost something, and it's just kind of organized, so I don't have to really think about it as much.
Yeah, I think that's another thing you just said too. I think a lot of artists or just creators in general shouldn't be afraid of reposting, because you don't know who saw what. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Like I repost on TikTok specifically. I repost a lot because I'm like I'm not going to sit here and just like create something and then try to rush to get it up when I have like hundreds of other illustrations that I've done in the last like month or a few years or whatever that I can just post up, because not everybody's seeing it. It's
Yep.
totally fine to do that, and I will do that until the day I die. Because like for me, I have a schedule. I do have a schedule. I'm very regimented. Like I
Right.
have Notion, I have calendars, I got everything set up. So if like let's say I'm supposed to put this out on Sunday, right? Tomorrow I'm editing it, right? And then it goes up on Patreon early, and then after that, then I can like do the little things I can put on Instagram. But it's done
Mhm.
ahead of time. So it's like I try to keep a schedule. And I try to do things like way in advance so that when it comes to that due date that I have for myself, because I do like to set deadlines, because otherwise I'm just gonna be all over the place.
Mhm.
Then I'm good. But I definitely repost because yeah, it's just easier that way.
No, like yeah, I mean, because everybody hasn't seen it, and I think you said something that's important. It's like when you're trying to rush to get something up, I'll catch myself doing that sometimes, and usually when I do that, it's like I get off the computer, I go play some video games. It's like I'm not posting this till at least tomorrow, because if I'm rushing it, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna see something in it that if I was taking my time, I could have fixed or would have caught my eye. So I just take a break from it, and yeah, I'm not trying to like appease the algorithm or any of that anymore. Like I'm way beyond that. So I want, and also too, I guess once people start paying attention, like when I first started and was doing this, like it doesn't like I wasn't getting a lot of likes. People weren't really engaging or paying attention to it. So it's like it doesn't really matter. Like this is a work in progress. I'm just posting my progress as I go. And then after a while, you start doing a few things, and then people kind of like if they're looking at you, they're looking at you for like the quality work that kind of drew them to you. So I don't want to just post anything just because I want to post it, and then I'm looking at it like, oh, this is not really that dope. I was just caught in the moment. It's like same thing like with music. Like back in the day, you were making music, like this is the dopest song, the dopest beats you ever made. You listen to it the next day, like this is trash.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I'll put something up, like I'll try to like rush to do something, and then like a week later, I'm like, this shit ugly, and I will delete it
Yeah,
and redo it and put it
yeah,
back up.
yeah. It's like
I'm like,
because you
nobody
thinking
gonna
like, oh,
notice.
yeah, this gonna go hard. Now everybody go, when you get 2 likes and you look at it, it's like, you know what, this actually isn't that great.
Yeah, I be
So,
redoing stuff all the time. Like I'm fine with that. Oh,
yep.
speaking of redoing stuff, how do you feel about remakes and remasters of old shows and cartoons and video games?
I think for one, I don't really watch a lot of them, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
I think that they're ruining, and I saw the first remake, live action remake of Lion King, so I think they're like ruining the legacy of Lion King.
Yeah.
The new one, you saw the new one too?
Oh God. Oh, yo, don't get me started on Lion King, bro. Because it's like we already have the cartoon. This is not even really live action. It's 3D animation. It's still animated. There's no people
Yeah,
here. So that
yeah,
that
yeah,
also bugs me out. I think just as an artist, that bugs me out, like the terminology. So I don't know. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not with
So,
it.
yeah, I don't think it needs like there's so many, and it's been proven there's so many original ideas that people can come with that can speak to either a lot of people if you're going for mass market or certain demographics, right? Like you got I just think of like Insecure or even like for Insecure, like that was certain age demographic of black folks that we all got it. It's like we understand all of this, right? And then you have something like Abbott, which could speak to a mass audience, but it still speaks to us in a way as well. And I think that these are all like original ideas that are coming from people's actual experiences that other people also have similar experiences. And I think it just speaks more than trying to remake something because it was popular 30 years ago.
Yeah, like what's the other thing? Everybody hates Chris. That was a very popular show. I never saw
Mhm.
it in its entirety. Like I saw clips here and there, like growing up.
Yep.
And then the reboot came out, and I just didn't understand the point of having. Granted, it's fun. It's actually pretty good, right? But I just didn't understand the point of coming back to this after so long. Like, had
Mhm.
it been like immediately after the show, maybe like a year or two after the show, that would have made sense for me. But like, what what would be the point of seeing more of Chris's story after we already had that big finale? because it
Yeah.
seemed like I watched it. It was like a big build up, and it ended like The Sopranos, where it's supposed to give you this like air of mystery of like, oh, what's happening next or whatever, and then it just goes straight after that, and it's like that kind of ruins the whole concept and purpose and the artistry and the writing of what they originally intended. At least for
Yep.
me.
And also too, you had to think about the people who are watching the original show are in different places in their lives now. So who are you kind of making it for? Like, of course, some people who watch the original show will watch the remakes, but if it's 30 years later, you probably got your job, you got your kids, you got to worry about bills. You're not just sitting there trying to watch a remake of a show to bring you back to '98. So I don't know. I haven't really seen too many pop up that like caught my eyes. Like I have to see that. You know what I mean? Like the movies, any of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I watched any that were like really phenomenal, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head. And the only thing that I will say that I do enjoy are the Sonic movies, because those are like an actual fresh adaptation instead of just a remake of something, where they're
Hmm.
putting a lot of their own spin to the story. And you can tell it's a labor of love versus it just being like a cash cow. Like, oh, let's just capitalize on people's love of Sonic the Hedgehog and do whatever. Like, they actually care about the characters. Like, the story makes sense. The characters, all the callbacks are really cool. So I enjoy that. But other than that, like, every other remake that I've seen, as far as like TV and film is concerned, has just been like a petty cash cow. Like, what was that? Fuller House on Netflix, which they didn't need to do. There was some other show they had come back, and I was like, why? I never seen. Oh, what's that? The white lady. What's that white lady with the She got the long nose. Sex in the City.
Oh,
They did a continuation of that, and I'm
mhm.
just like, what? But people are eating it up though. That's the funny thing. So people want it. It's just like, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? We can't win, we can't lose, we can't do anything. Because
Yeah.
people
I
are
mean, we
going to
just
see it. Like Lion King made some money. Mufasa, like the kids are singing it. Like they come to the school. I hear them go, my brother, singing the song. I'm just like, oh my God, go watch the original. They made 3 movies. They made 3 cartoon movies. Go watch those.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe they just don't want to take risk. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like,
Comfort, yeah.
just like, yeah. So something that they think like. One thing I do like about like all of the Ninja Turtle stuff, because my daughter is like super into Ninja Turtles. It's like each one is different. So like you got the whether it's a TV show or the movie, whatever case may be. So you got like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and you got the new one, the Mutant Mayhem. You got the cartoon that's setting it up for the next movie, or whatever the case may be. So I think when you do it that way, because it's like a franchise, but they're different takes on the franchise, like you said with the other joints. But as far as like a straight remake, like we're gonna remake this movie that came out 35 years ago with the same story but with new people, just remake it. Like I'm not really into that.
Yeah, they did White Man Can't Jump with Jack Harlow
I didn't watch
on
that.
Hulu. I ain't watch it either. I was like, come on. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
Then they did what was the other Coming to America 2, which it wasn't good. I watched that. That
Yeah,
was pretty
I
bad.
watched that one. It wasn't that great.
It's just like, again, like you said, comfort. People like nostalgia. That's a big thing now.
Hmm.
But I feel like if all that time and money were put into projects that are trying to actually be in front of people's faces, like how many black artists I see putting stuff out on YouTube and TikTok that are phenomenal, they could have used that budget. They could have used that Amazon budget. You know what I'm saying? What you call it? I don't know if you're familiar with RDC World, like that group of young kids. They do a lot of
Hmm.
like yeah, so it's this group of young kids. I think they started on Vine maybe. I think they live somewhere in the South, and they just do a lot of like cartoon inspired skits. That's how they started. So they would do a lot of stuff from like Dragon Ball, Naruto, and things like that.
Hmm.
And now they're like their own like publishing house, and they even have a convention that they do every year. But like, if the funding that went into like all them remakes went into those kids' pockets, or like King Vader's another one of those YouTubers that came up doing a lot of those types of skits, we would have so much new things, new stories, new characters to enjoy. and we need that
Yeah.
more than ever. Because like if I see one more like I don't know 90s classic get butchered for no reason, I'm gonna lose it.
Yep. And the thing is, we know we've seen like the pathway of creators like that of where it can go, right? Because Issa used to be doing a web series. I used to watch Quinta on the website. They used to have all the like the little quizzes.
Yeah,
She used
BuzzFeed.
to do yeah, BuzzFeed. She used to do those quizzes or not. She used to do the sketches on there, like the large popcorn at the movie
He
theater and
got
all that stuff.
money.
Yeah, right. And then look where it led to.
Yeah.
So it can really go some places when you take these people who are like super creative and doing it with little or no budget, and then you give them some budget and some guidance, and it's like you can see where it can go.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm gonna take back what I just said. I think it can also be up to us too. We pull our money together. Like back in the day, our parents' generation and generations before, they used to do like rent parties and things like that. We could have a party where we funding somebody's project. You know what I'm saying? Like money can go towards that. Somebody trying to do like a film or they're trying to have an exhibition or something. Cause we all we got and nobody else definitely now is going to be funding it.
Yep.
All them things that bonuses that we was getting for being the black independent creator, it ain't happening no more. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
I was actually just watching a video on something similar to that last night. It was just talking about how like back in the day, folks would get together and almost have like a community pot for savings. So it's like we all put in $20 a week. Every week somebody gets the whole pot. It's kind of like forced saving, but community saving and helping each other out. And it could be the same way with creativity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It could be the same way with art and any of these things. It's just people got to get on the same page. And it's like the older I get, I was like, is it? And they've been talking about this in our parents' generation. They were talking about it before that. It's like, are we going to get on the same page? Like, or not? You know what I mean? Like, because I would
No.
like to see it.
I don't think it's going to happen because the advent of social media has made everybody incredibly individualistic to the point where we black people specifically have gotten into this like rise and grind set culture where they don't want to be in community. They say they want to, but they're not really about that life. I've seen a lot of people, they get their big following, they say, oh, I'm gonna give back to the community, I'm gonna collaborate with this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. But then it's like they keep everything to themselves. They don't talk. They don't share any resources or information, and that's what community is. A lot of people use that word so much now it feels like it's lost its meaning. It's like, oh, I want to be in the community. I want to be part of the community. I'm trying to give back to the community. It's like community is what we were just talking about. People pulling their resources together, putting their money together, showing up when it matters, actually like working together in physical and virtual space. Like what we're doing right now is part of community, building up our platforms together. And I feel like if we don't get out of that mindset, if we don't get out of this like hyper capitalistic, like obsessively grind set type of philosophy, then we're going to keep going into this trajectory, and we're not going to go anywhere.
Yep. And I mean, I totally agree with you. And that's probably like a big reason why I started sharing like my process and what I'm learning like in real time as far as 3D and stuff goes. Cause I don't want people to just I don't want to just be like, hey, come buy some prints from me or whatever. Like, I don't care if you buy the prints or not. Like, I want you to, like, I want to get something from you and you get something from me. So if I can share some knowledge with you and it opens up your mind, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try that, and it helps you to accomplish something, or you share something with me and it helps me to see something in a different light and open up myself creatively or as a person or whatever the case may be. I think that's like important, and also being going back to what you said earlier about like the trolling on the internet and stuff, and also feeling safe enough to even do that. You know what I mean? To ask for some help or to say I want to help somebody, and people not jump in and be like, you just doing that because you want engagement or whatever the case may be, right? Like it has to be, yeah, it has to be like open, and there has to be communication, and everybody kind of has to be on the same page with it without that ego and being like, I'm just out to get mine. Like I don't care if y'all get yours. Like just, you know, taking my stuff, taking my words, taking and give me your money, but I'm not going to give you anything back. And I think that's not the way to go, because we see across the board, not just in black culture, but in American culture. Like once they started treating politics like college football, Like it's been a wrap. Like it's just whatever shirt you got on, whatever hat you got on, like the other side don't even matter, you know? And it goes across all aspects of life, you know? So
Yeah, and to that point, about people kind of pointing fingers like, "Oh, you're just doing this for engagement." Like, yes, that's nice, but people fail to realize that a lot of creators do want to elevate themselves. You know, it's not just about, you know, posting just to post. They want to create an audience. They want to create a community. They want to actually share their stuff. And also, if there's a benefit of uh, gaining income from that, or gaining followers from that, what do you want them to do? It's like they people. It's like this weird thing because a lot of people were attacking. Her name is Francesca. Francesca, I can't remember her last. Ramsey, Francesca Ramsey. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
mm,
She used to I think she also used to do a lot of stuff for BuzzFeed. I can't remember where she used to be big and prominent from. I think she started on YouTube and then went to like other places, but she does a lot of writing for movies and stuff now. She was in Intergalactic with Kid Cudi, which is a great, phenomenal film on Netflix, which I wish I can own on like physical DVD, but that's a whole different conversation. But
yeah.
even with her, like people attack her for like sharing things for free, and it's like, what do you want her to do? Because if she also charged you $500 for a course, you'd be complaining. Like, what? It's like we damned if we do, damned if we don't. You know?
And that's kind of what I mean of like feeling safe about like sharing that stuff because if you don't post it, nobody's gonna see it. If nobody sees it, then you can't. It's not gonna grow, right? Um, but it's like then when you post it, people will just people you don't even know, never had an interaction with in your life. Sometimes will just jump in there and just say something negative to you. So I think it's like trying to find because, like I said, I wasn't really into Twitter, but it's like when I got on Threads and then things started picking up a little bit. Like, yeah, I'd get some people just hop in my comments randomly and just say like the wildest things. I don't even know you, bro. Like, I've never seen you before in my life. Never seen your screen name, and it's like, are you that miserable? Do you got like jump into my stuff? But despite all that, you still just gotta you have to share it and you have to put it out there. And it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. It's like your job is just to create it and put it out there, like what the world does with it and they do with it. And yeah, I mean, the internet, man, it was good. There was a time where it was like really, really
We had a
good.
good run. That's it. The internet's done
Yeah.
now.
Because it's like the more I think about it and the more I'm sitting here speaking all this stuff, it's like, damn, man, like this shit's really kind of it's just getting to a weird place. And it's like that doesn't mean that it's all bad. Like there's still like we're having this conversation right now because of the internet and we're having it over the internet, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not that it's all bad, but it's like it's just more to navigate through and to deal with versus MySpace days when you just have a top 8 and you post your stuff up on your bulletin board and people are like, "Oh, this is fresh," you know?
Yeah.
So,
We're more connected now. Back
yeah.
then, it was just like small little bubbles, small little circles. Usually, be like your family, your friends, somebody you went to school with. Now it's some dude all the way in Japan doing Nishiyama daddy daddy dances and stuff, and it's just like we're just all over. And I think once people realize and understand each other a little better, I think, and that's an ideal world type of scenario. But I do believe once people get to know each other and learn about cultures, it won't be as toxic and weird as it is now. Because you could be anything. You could post something and here comes somebody like, ugh, what are you doing this for? Oh, this is stupid. It's ugly. And it's like, hello, how you doing today? You good? You need a
Yeah.
sandwich? Like, you need Snickers? Like, what's good, man? Like, I just don't
Yeah,
understand getting on the internet and just being mean for no reason.
that's what I'm about to say, man. I never in my life has been like just scroll and see something and be like, "You know what? I don't like this. I'm gonna let them know."
In a very like
Yeah.
poorly written sentence.
With
Like,
no profile picture, like,
or a picture of a
you know?
car
Yeah.
or some anime kid. It's like, all right,
That's exactly I'm about to say exactly the same thing. So an anime character is like, like it's I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to fathom sometimes because it's just like people just out here just trying to create and try to find, their like-minded people. And then there's other people who are just like floating around the internet just trying to make people miserable, which is wild to me.
and with that though, when we do see that misery, when we do see the negativity or any of those things that are kind of just on that side of, the common word toxicity now, how do you navigate that with your art, and does that also inform how you produce any of your work?
No, it doesn't really inform how I produce my work. And these days, I mean, I kind of have like a policy. Every once in a while, I might clap back just because I'm feeling a little spicy. But for the most part, it's like I'm not arguing with people over the internet.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, I always have this thing in the back of my mind. It's like I wish that if you were gonna be like a troll on the internet, you had to post your physical stats. Ju-
No, that's crazy. Posting physical stats is crazy.
yeah, because I mean, if you 5'5" at 160, like I don't. Why am I even taking? You know what I mean? Because if you wouldn't say it to my face, so that's. I mean, that's just a little joke I always kind of hold in the back of my mind. But I just don't. I don't let it get to me. You can just block them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you could just block
Well,
them.
my block list is long, my brother. Every platform, block, 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 block.
I really just got into the block lifestyle probably the last couple months. To be honest with you, out of all this time.
Yeah, and I
So,
once I realized that I don't have to reply to everybody, like everything just seems a lot better now.
yeah,
It's like
just a
I'm just
block.
going to ignore you. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to block it because it's unnecessary. You just want me to go back and forth with you because you bored right now, sitting alone in dark room eating Cheetos, and you just want some entertainment. Go watch World Star or something, bro. Like go watch a old episode of Bad Girls Club or something if you want some drama. Like it ain't happening with me. But I will take sometimes I will take some of those things if somebody's trying to beef with me or whatever or start something. I will like bookmark that in my head, or I might take a screenshot and I'll use it later in like maybe a comic or something like that. So it's
Mhm.
like in a sense I'm directly using my world in front of me and using that as a vessel to put a message out in that sense.
Mhm. Yep, and that makes sense. But yeah, folks are wild out here, man. It's like go make something.
Or go for a walk.
Consume less. Yeah, read a book. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But Reggie, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Art Block. Where can the folks find you across the internet and social media? And let us know if you have anything coming out soon that we can check out.
Yeah, for sure. So my website's reggieperryjr.com. I keep all my work up there. Most active on social media on Threads and I guess Instagram. So at nobody famous. Nothing really. Oh, well, I can't. I lied. So there is probably something coming out. I did a kind of like a pilot of a series to kind of share and tell like lesser known Black history stories. I did it back in the summer. My skills weren't like as good as I wanted them to be, but I think they're there now. So I actually just pulled those sessions back up and starting to rework some of that now. And the first one is like on the Greensboro 4 with the lunch counter sit-ins. Um, so I think that, like I said, I started a while ago, but I think now with everything that's going on with the environment, everything, that probably telling Black stories in our own way might be something that's beneficial. So I'm gonna be working on that over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The Greensboro 4, that's the one where they just like sat at the counter, like the adults sat at the counter every day at the diner. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, they
I did
like
see that.
went. I think they went like every day at the Woolworth, which is the old school. I guess they used to have lunch counters in the department stores
Yeah.
back in the 50s and 60s. Yeah, so yeah, I did some research on them, read up on them, wrote a whole script, all this kind of stuff. So it's like a little 2 minute piece, and I'll probably do some more with some collaborations with some people as well on it. But yeah, I just think it would be cool to, and also in the process of those of doing stuff like that, it's like I also learn as well. So if there's a story that I'm not familiar with, and I think that it's important for Black people to be like go back and just learn things that you may not have gotten from your community when you grew up, or you didn't have access to these books or these people. Like I feel like sometimes people be like, "Shit, like, oh, you ain't seen all of these episodes of this show from this year, from this time or whatever." It's like, no, everybody hasn't actually seen everything, right? So it's like to be able to be like, go back to view, to read, to learn, and then help that to inform some of the stories that you tell through your art. So that's kind of like my approach with that. But yeah, I'm working on that. And other than that, I mean, I post on Threads like every day. In my website, you can check me out on there as well.
All right, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much again for sharing your perspective, your knowledge, and your love of the arts with us. And we hope to have you back on the show real soon. And everyone else that's watching, please go follow this brother. He's an amazing talent. A lot of his work, everything that he creates is phenomenal, from the 3D to the photography to the music. Check him out on all his socials and his website. The links to everything will be in the description box below. But until next time, stay true. We out. Deuces.
Peace.
Yo, thank y'all so much for coming through and supporting and watching this episode of the Art Block, the inaugural episode of 2025. We are back. We are back. So if you have anybody, any black artists you know that you would love for me to chop it up with, make some art with right here on the channel, let me know in the comments below. And also let me know what you thought of the episode. If you have any opinions on the things that me and Reggie were talking about, whether you disagree or agree, anything that resonated with you, let me know. Keep them comment sections active. That's what helps the channel a lot. Make sure you hit that like button too. But yes, that is it. The next episode will be coming soon, so don't worry. Make sure you visit my website for further details on when that may or may not be happening. No, it will be happening. Shout outs to our patrons, our YouTube members, and everyone else that supports the channel financially and taking it an extra step. If you want to do that too, the link is in the description below. But without further ado, like I said before, we out. Deuces.